This time, Islamic Secrets will reveal the story of a conservative Catholic who converted to Islam and became a great cleric in England. The story of Wasim Kempson's life journey is magical and very interesting, starting from having the status of a Catholic religion. But Allah had other plans and made him a convert to Islam, and then became a great preacher in England. Sheikh Wasim Kempson is known as one of the most famous Islamic Da'wah scholars in England. He was born in London, but his mother was Irish while his father was England. His family was a purely conservative and Catholic family. Initially, he studied at one of the oldest Christian schools in England called the Holy Christ. Islamic guidance came to Sheikh Wasim Kempson at a relatively young age. The door to his heart was knocked to embrace Islam when he showed a deep interest in the philosophy of divine religion, which led him to convert to Islam at the age of 18. It all started when Sheikh Wasim Kempson graduated from high school. He decided to enter Richmond College in the city of London, England. That's where he met several Muslim friends. Initially, there was a Muslim named Muhammad who was a classmate in his college class. It's nothing. The seat next to Sheikh Wasim Kempson was the only one left at that time. He didn't mind if Muhammad sat there. I could see that he was from a foreign country. He was sitting next to me. He said, "I am Muhammad from Afghanistan," recalled Sheikh Wasim Kempson. Their friendship grew closer. They even became friends since then. They often spent lunchtime together. Until one day Sheikh Wasim Kempson realized that Muhammad was going somewhere before eating lunch. Apparently Muhammad performed the midday prayer first. When he learned of this fact, Sheikh Wasim Kempson was curious about Muhammad's worship. How surprised he was to learn that his friend prayed 5 times a day. "I don't believe that person will pray 5 times a day, because going to a place of worship just once a week is something that requires quite an effort," he said. Sheikh Wasim Kempson was then invited by Muhammad to visit his usual place of worship on campus. There Kempson met another Muslim friend named Ridwan and Wasim. They never once talked about Islam or offered Kempson to become a Muslim. However, they invited Sheikh Wasim Kempson to come to their prayer room at any time, even if it was just to drink coffee together. There was one thing that attracted Sheikh Wasim Kempson when he set foot in that room. He saw Muslims carrying out prayers. "I just waited and watched them. But what fascinated me was the way they all prayed together," said Sheikh Wasim Kempson. The ongoing friendship made Sheikh Wasim Kempson interested in questioning Islam, for example, regarding prayer services. But he did not immediately study Islam completely. For a year, Sheikh Wasim Kempson tried to relearn Islam and his previous religion. He continued to go to his house of worship to watch lectures by ulama. Until one day Sheikh Wasim Kempson met an Egyptian man. Ridwan and other Muslim friends used to study Islam with this man in the North London area. One day Sheikh Wasim Kempson followed Ridwan to the Egyptian man's house for about 2 hours just talking about religion, the purpose of life. "And after that I was really fascinated," said Sheikh Wasim Kempson. After following the material about Islam, his heart became even more turbulent. He was confused beyond words and still needed time to think carefully. It turns out that Sheikh Wasim Kempson is starting to think about stepping into the teachings of Islam. He spent 3 months thinking about the best decision. Until finally that day arrived. The day when Sheikh Wasim Kempson firmly embraced Islam. Ridwan led him to a mosque and met the imam. "When I walked it felt very calm and I felt as if I was where I wanted to be in this place. So I said to him, 'I want to be a Muslim,'" he said. Ridwan happily took Kempson to the priest. He expressed Kempson's desire to convert to Islam. Without taking long, Sheikh Wasim Kempson said 2 sentences of the Shahada. According to him, this incident had occurred for years, to be precise in October 1994. He first studied at Salesian College, but soon went to the Islamic University of Medina in Saudi Arabia to seek further knowledge in the field of fiqh and aqidah. He then returned to London and continued his studies at the University of London, School of Oriental and African Studies to obtain a professorship in Islamic law. Sheikh Wasim Kempson serves as Director General of the West London Islamic Centre, of which he is also a member, and takes part in its activities. He also gives regular lessons at the center and oversees the provision of adequate Islamic teachings and a correct understanding of the religion in British society to avoid misunderstandings and stereotypes. Sheikh Kempson also supervises the teaching of the Quran and Sunnah at the Tayyibun Institution along with a number of sheikhs and leading teacher. He also hosted a show on the Arabic channel, Iqra, titled Arila al-Qaida, which was followed by a large number of viewers. There is an interesting story about his marriage. While still a student at the Islamic University of Medina, someone who was elderly but also studying in Medina saw Wasim Kempson's piety. Finally, they met at the Nabawi Mosque and his parents immediately offered to marry their daughter. Finally, the wedding took place at the Medina Palace. Short, but meaningful. Why? Because piety is capital for a man, whether he will be looked at or not. If someone is pious, then don't be afraid of the word single. God willing, there will be sustenance from Allah. Because indeed, if a pious person comes to propose and is rejected, then there is a big threat from Allah Ta'ala. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, if a man comes to propose to you with whom you agree with his religion and morals, then marry him. If not, then there will be slander on the face of the earth and widespread destruction. Hadith riwayat Imam Tirmidhi. For the younger generation, be a God-fearing person. Because Allah will be pleased with us, then all humans will be pleased with us. So, don't be afraid to be single again as long as we are devout people. Sheikh Wasim Kempson is known for his moderate approach in conveying Islamic teachings. He seeks to explain Islam in a way that is relevant and acceptable to modern society, without ignoring the basic principles of the religion. Sheikh Wasim Kempson is known for his efforts in promoting peace and harmony in multicultural societies. He is often involved in inter-religious dialogue and activities aimed at increasing understanding between different communities. His enthusiasm for spreading Islam is truly extraordinary. Many people are interested in embracing Islam after listening to the enlightenment delivered by Sheikh Wasim Kempson. May his life journey provide great motivation for all of us.